Hi folks, today we're going to be unboxing two expansions for Monster Hunter World board game. We're going to be unboxing the Kirin and also the Picking Bones expansion. The Kirin comes with the Kirin monster, which you guys know, and then for the Picking Bones, it comes with the Tsitsiaku, the Great Gyros, and Radoban. We're going to be checking out the components, the miniatures, which look amazing by the way, and some good news about inserts and sleeving the cards. Hi, I'm Nick from Tabletop Duo. Grab your favorite drink and let's start the unboxing. And here it is, Monster Hunter World, the board game, Kirin Expansion. Let's start by removing the shrink wrap. On the front cover we have Kirin. On the sides we get to see a little bit of the area in which the monster inhabits. And in the back we get to see a little bit of the components. This game comes with the miniature, 120 cards, a rule book and quest book. Let's open it up. First we get the rule book. So here you get to see how to add it to your campaign. The weapons forge reference, the armor as well, the special rules for this monster, the quest types here, the assigned, investigation and tempered. And then here you get to see the gathering phase. And finally the arena quest. Next we get the physiology card, so let's open it up. As you can see, the monster is immune against the electricity, dragon, also to paralysis and to poison. It has the high voltage ability. And on one of the physiology cards you get all the loot table, and the second one is for the 2 stars and for the 5 stars version. Now we have an insert cover, so let's remove that. For the miniature, unfortunately I'm one of the lucky people that got the tail broken, but the miniature looks really nice. There is a ton of details on its face. The texture on the back of the horse for the skin, and the ground that has like a base texture that resembles the area in which you fight this monster, and also the details are like the small texture in the horn. Next we get to the cards. There are 2 packs of cards for a total of 120 cards. So here are some of the weapons. You got the dual blades, sword and shield, lance, pipe, and then here you have the armor. And here you have the armor, so starting with the helmet, the jacket, the guards, some time cards, and the attack cards. And for this expansion, the attack cards, they are bigger than the regular Monster Hunter World boss behavior cards. They used to be small, so now they are like full-sized cards. Of course, it's like an electric monster, so you will see some electric attacks and some powered up cards. Here you see it will do this attack, like here you can see some like indicate specific nodes for extra modifiers. And here we get the attack cards for each one of the weapons. As you can see, a lot of them have the electric damage, the Kirin song list, and some extra damage cards that go from 4 to 5. Before I finish for this expansion, you get to see that there is space for the sleeve, so if you want to sleeve the cards, they should be able to fit in this insert. It's a fairly like resistant insert, and there's enough space for everything. And here we have the other expansion, which is the Picking Bones one. So we're gonna start by removing the shrink wrap. On the front cover we have a concept art of Radoban. On the sides you have a concept art of the area in which the enemy is found. And in the back you get to see all the components. And this expansion comes with 3 monster miniatures, which you can see now, 200 cards, a rule book and quest book. All right, so let's open it up. First, we start with the rule book. You get to see all the components, how to add them to your campaign, optional additions. Here you get the Weapons Forge reference for each one of the different monsters that you can see here, and also for the armor. Then you get the assigned investigation and tempered quest for Tsitsiyaku. You get to see the gathering phase. Same thing for the Great Gyros, the gathering phase, and then the same thing for Radoban. Assigned investigation and tempered investigation. Last but not least, there is an update to the downtime activities and also the arena quests. Then we get to a punch board with the Hunter turn dial, some Gyro spec tokens, starting tokens, potion and feint tokens, as well as a flash token and some tokens here for Radoban. Next, we have the physiology cards. There are 6 physiology cards, it's 2 per monster. One of them has the assigned quest, and then in the back you get the loot tables, and then the other one has the investigation quest, and then in the back you get the tempered investigation quest. So Tsitsiyaku starts with 60 health, doesn't have a lot of resistance against other elements or status effects, has the flash ability, and has 3 body parts. Gyro starts with 60, it's immune to dragon and paralysis and electrical, has the Gyro swarm ability, it has 3 parts. And then we have Radoban with 65, it's immune to sleep, has the bone armor, which you can see here, so that's where you're gonna put the tokens. And then you have 4 parts. So next, let's remove the insert cover. Now we get to the miniatures. First, we're gonna start with the Tsitsiyaku. That's a very nice miniature. Again, lots of details on the skin. You get to see kind of the texture that's different in each part. The head, very detailed. Also the base texture, kind of similar pattern to Kirin since they come from the same area. Then we get to the Great Gyros. The Great Gyros again has a nice base texture with like some bones and like kind of like a muddy terrain. Really nice texture on the scales, the monster, the head and the 2 fangs. That's really cool. And then the spiky Radoban. Well, you get a bunch of spikes everywhere. A lot of details on the skin parts that are not with the spikes. And then again, the base texture looks amazing. This is the biggest of the 3 miniatures. Next we get the rivets, which we use to assemble the dials. And then we have 3 packs of cards. And here you have enough space to be able to place the cards, I believe, if they are all sleeved. So that's really good. Let's open the packs. Here we have the Gyro's blade, the dual blades, and all the boss weapons. And then for the armor you get the headgear, the mail, and the greaves for the Tsitsi, Gyro's mask, Gyro's mail. And like you get the 2 versions, the male and the female version, and the greaves. And finally you get the base helm for Radoban, Bun mail, and the greaves. Again, male and female versions. You get some new time cards. These are the red ones. The attack cards. There's a ton of them. And then more damage cards. 3 and 4s. And the monster behavior cards. Again, they are like in a regular card instead of the small ones they used to have. And then similar to Monster Hunter Iceborne, you get the potion, ration, whetstone, and reference cards, because these are now using a different system. Something I also would like to mention that's really good is once you assemble all the components here, you see all the dials and the tokens, it fits perfectly in the box. It has enough space to sleeve the cards. So like a very, very good insert. So thumbs up for Steam Forged Games for this one. Before we finish the video, my first thoughts about both expansions. So first, for the Picking Bones, I like that they did some updates to some mechanics that we see on Iceborne, like having the whetstone, the ration, and also the potion to be kind of like using a separate deck that you put near the table. You also get the update for the Hunter's Dial, so you get to mark the number of turns, a few other tokens that are very useful for the game. So that's really cool. And you get to play with 3 new monsters. And then for Kirin, like, it's gonna be another tough boss, this time with the Thunder Elemental damage. And this guy, I like that we get some other modifiers that make the combat harder, and also the update with the bigger cards. I find that the bigger cards are easier for people to read around on the table instead of like having to pick up the small cards and trying to read them. So I think that's a good addition. We're gonna see how both expansions play after, probably with a review. I don't know about the playthrough, so let me know if you would like to see a playthrough of each one of the expansions or both. And if we want to check more, just check the links right here. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!